What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for AEW Rampage and SmackDown double review for September the 17th, 2021. The last show for AEW on TV, because we still have Dark and Dark Elevation, but let's not talk about those. The last TV show, the go-home show to Grand Slam. Coming to you next Wednesday and Friday, a 2-day, 4-hour pay-per-view quality event. This will probably not be the last time we see shows like this anymore. Next time they do Fight for the Fallen, it'll probably be Wednesday and Friday. Next time they do Fighter Fest, it'll probably be a Wednesday and Friday pay-per-view type show. This is the future of AEW's pay-per-view S shows like we used to get with Fight for the Fallen when we had them for 2 weeks. Instead of 2 weeks, it's going to be a Fighter Fest this year where we had Fighter Fest for 2 weeks. Instead of it being a 2-week event, it's going to be 1 week over 2 days with Wednesday and Friday. So tonight we had the tag team titles on the line as Butcher and the Blade, who were just named the #1 contenders this past Wednesday, go for the tag team titles. Miro puts his championship on the line again against Fuego del Sol. And Fuego del Sol's car is also on the line. Why would Fuego take that? Why would anybody want that car that Fuego has and for anything? And Butcher and the Bunny takes on the Bunny takes on Anna Jay as well. That are your matches. And we had a face-off between Ruby Soho and the women's champion. And let's just say Ruby Soho took the women's champion to school on how to cut a fucking promo, because Ruby Soho just promoted circles around the women's champion. So let's see. That's in the ring. She's subpar. The champion is. Can't cut a good promo with shit. So why is this woman your champion? Oh, that's right, because she's Adam Cole's girlfriend. That is the only reason. And it's clear more and more every single time she's out there that the only reason she's in the position she's in is because her boyfriend is best friends with the Elite. With the Bucks, Kenny Omega, Cody probably as well, the EVPs. He is their best friend, and that's why she's in the position, and you ain't going to convince me otherwise. Anyway, we started the show with the tag team titles because of course you would. This is how next week's Rampage is going to be an anomaly because it's 2 hours, 10 to midnight. I don't know how well that's going to do ratings-wise, but Rampage is always going to start off with the high-profile match, the bigger match every single week, because fans from watching SmackDown for 2 hours, if you do want to move over to TNT, you're going to see the first big match. So if anything else comes after, like you had those other 2 matches, which one is big, that you can turn it off and go to sleep, because it's 11 o'clock right now. I'm tired of shit, and I'm going to get done with this. Next week's going to be even worse. But you had the Lucha Bros versus the Butcher and the Blade. Why this match was happening so fast, I don't know. They honestly could have kept this match for next week and had another championship match on the Grand Slam card. I mean, we had 5 matches on TNT on Wednesday, and 3, which why don't we have 5 as well, that were added as Suzuki-gun, Lance Archer, Minoru Suzuki, and John Moxley and Eddie Kingston will actually move to Rampage, and that's going to be a lights out match. Also, there's going to be an 8-man tag team match, which comes out of this match tonight. So, really fun match here, good match as well. Now, the ending was very, very creative, because Phoenix was the guy tagged in. Penta had his mask tied to the bottom rope, and it was tied to a part where Alex tried to get it off but couldn't get it off because it was that tied up. So the Butcher and the Blade are beating the hell out of Rey Fenix. Penta, without his mask, lets his mask slip, covers his face, hits a super kick onto the Butcher, allowing, I think it was, he sacrifices his mask by taking it off and having to save his brother in time for another pinfall attempt. He rolls up the Blade for the 1, 2, 3, and they retain their championships. good fun match with a very inventive ending. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that ending before, and the fact that he sacrificed having his mask off, covered his face, which I'm thinking to myself, and it's like, Alex, you're supposed to be the hype man. You should have a extra mask in your pocket somewhere in case this happens, because Penta does have those ties on the end of his mask, so it'd be a lot more hell for him to have that happen. He could have easily slipped the mask off. You give him another mask, he slips it on, he goes in there and fights again. But again, great way to end the match. After the match, we see Private Party run out and continue to beat down on the tag team. Santana Ortiz, dressed in with the face paint and everything, come out to make the save. And next week it will be Penta, Zero Miedo, Rey Fenix, and Santana Ortiz versus, I believe, Private Party and either TH2 or Butcher and the Blade in an 8-man tag match. That is happening on Rampage. So that is a big match coming up for Rampage next week. We get a Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson reflect on their upcoming match. Beautiful promo. I love these video packages. They always are great. Says the AEW champion Kenny Omega sees Bryan Danielson as an underdog who's getting a little too cocky to challenge a guy like himself. Danielson, on the other hand, believes he belongs in this match. He hopes to prove Omega wrong, so as well as prove what so many others know, which is that he's the best wrestler to step a foot in the squared circle. The American Dragon versus the Best Spot Machine will square off, and it would like to be a match of the year frontrunner next week. I believe I made a prediction on Wednesday that this was going to be a win for Danielson. I'm going back on that now, and I'm going to say this is probably going to be a time limit draw. The best thing they could do for this match is a time limit draw. I know that's going to probably piss off people who are in the crowd, but a time limit draw makes the most sense. Bryan Danielson should not be losing his first match. Kenny Omega should not be losing at all as champion outside of losing the championship. Is the next time he should lose a non-title match or a match at all. So having them go to a time limit draw would be perfect. And we haven't had a time limit draw in 2021. The last time I believe we had a time limit draw was last year. Wasn't it Cody? And I know Cody and Darby went to the time limit draw at the beginning of the second event ever, or the first event, no, the second event, or third event, whichever one it was. And then I know Pac and John Moxley went to a time limit draw because they went out of TV time, which pissed a lot of people off. But I don't think we've had a time limit draw since then. So they're kind of due for a time limit draw. So Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, versus Kenny Omega, the Best Bout Machine. 20 minutes, done and dusted. That should be your main event of Wednesday night. Gonna be great. Anna Jay versus Tay Conti. This is a grudge match because Anna Jay came back to help her friend Ty, who was being bullied by the other two right before the Casino Battle Royal, because Allie wanted to have help in the Casino Battle Royal and Tay turned her down, and Anna's back, and this is where this was. So it was an okay match here. The Queen Slayer Anna looks like the Queen Slayer about to counter Tay, and Penelope start brawling outside. Meanwhile, Anna rolls the bunny up for 1, 2, 3 with the schoolgirl, which got fucking Taz excited on commentary. After the match, Penelope Ford comes in the ring. She beats up Anna. Tay comes in. Bunny helps her out. Brass knuckles to the face of Anna and Tay, knocking them both out. I believe they're in a tag team match coming very, very soon. So that is going to be that. Honestly, Penelope Ford just mad. Tay Conti and Anna Jay are definitely better in the ring than both of them, than Bunny and Anna. And Penelope. And I really just hope this thing ends soon. We will look back at Powerhouse Hobbs' heinous attack on Friday. This past Friday, Hobbs looks forward to his Rampage Grand Slam matchup next week with Punk, first TV match in 7 years. Powerhouse Hobbs sounded so confident. I love the fact that he had the confidence in this promo. he is ready to go out there and show what he can do and prove that he can take on CM Punk. So, Tony Schiavone is standing in the ring with Matt Hardy and Jack Evans. Matt Hardy notices a fan in the audience who is reporting Orange Cassidy. Look, takes this fan and drags him out. Obviously, he has a plan. He's probably somebody who works in the office backstage, and he's like, I'm pissed off. You know what's been pissing me off? My boys will take care of those guys next week, as it will be Santana and Ortiz in the Lucha Bros versus the Butcher and the Blade and Private Party. The match is official, yes. Next week, 8-man tag match. And then he says, you know what pissing me off the most? This Orange Cassidy lookalike, which Excalibur decided to say that, yeah, he might be a fan, but not much of a lookalike. So he goes over, grabs this poor fan, who is probably somebody who works in the office, brings him into the ring, beats him up a little bit, he has a ponytail, so he gets the scissors, cuts the ponytail off, and Matt Hardy has Jack Evans take a shaver, and starts shaving this poor man's hair like an ass until Orange Cassidy finally comes out, which, honestly, it's like the crowd might not get turned on because Orange Cassidy came down and saved this guy, but there was no reaction to Orange Cassidy on TV. I might be losing my hearing or something. I don't think so, because I didn't hear anybody for Orange Cassidy. It was really weird. So we go to commercial break, we come back, and the women's champion is on her way to the ring. Then Ruby Soho comes out again. I don't hear the crowd that much. I don't know what's going on with the thing. So Ruby comes out, and she is rocking to the theme and everything. She takes her jacket off, puts a toboggan on. She is just ready, and she's just like, Ruby Soho looks like she's having the absolute time of her life. Like, she just looks like she is the happiest person. She's like a kid in the candy store. She's like the happiest person in the world being in AEW. After years of being wasted on main roster television, hardly even having a cup of coffee in NXT, not even really get to do much in NXT before they brought her, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan up to basically do absolutely nothing. But the champ says she finds her upcoming opponent a desperate soul who's trying to find herself, but she, on the other hand, sees herself as the established act. And they know who I am. I'm DMD. Blah. Soho agrees that Baker has made her name for herself, but she seems to shove it down the spectators' throats. She says, however, I'm confident in my skin. And here's the fun thing. You had Ruby Soho chance for 95%. It was dueling chance, if you want to call that. 95% was Ruby Soho and 5% DMD. You could barely hear the DMD chance. Gee, what happened to this woman being one of the most over women in the company? I don't fucking think so. She never was and never will be. The fans are in the corner following her statement. She calls her an entitled, self-centered chick who is banging a guy in the back, which the fans explode for the first time all night. Like, holy shit. Burn of the night. And you want to know the champ's response? Oh, you know what? You didn't run. You want to call yourself the runaway, but you want to run away. You got fired. That's her comeback. Oh, you said I banged somebody in the back? Oh, but you got fired. Weak ass shit. And then Ruby follows it up with this gem. Yeah, I may have got fired. Best damn thing that ever happened to me. I'm thankful to be let go because it was what. If she wouldn't be in the number one contender in the major prize of the women's division, and maybe you going blind because your head is so far up Tony Khan's ass. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Just truth bomb after truth bomb from Ruby Soho. The champ could not contend with her. She tries to attack her. Ruby Soho counters and sends her straight out of the ring. She left the title behind, which mistakenly Ruby Soho grabs and holds up, which tells you she ain't winning the championship, unfortunately. But again, Ruby Soho outclassed the Faker in the ring on the mic. So, tell me again why this woman is the women's champion. It's so fucking far beyond me. I don't understand how she's champion. When she can't cut it on the mic, she can't cut it in the ring, other people have to carry her ass. Actually, I have the whole thing right here, so if you want to hear how it really sounded, here you go.
I'm just trying to figure out why you are lying to everybody, including yourself. Because you have the audacity to call yourself the runaway. But you didn't run away from anything, Ruby. You got fired.
Shots returned.
That's absolutely fucking weak. Honestly, absolutely weak. Oh, she got fired. Yeah, so does half the fucking people in this world. She got fired. That's the best comeback you can come to being told you're an entitled bitch who's banging somebody in the back, and that's why you're in the position you're in. Give me a fucking break. Good grief.
It's like a roasting session. I love it. Clip.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. She's not wrong. I did. But it turns out it was the best damn thing to ever happen to me. Because it brought me right here. It brought me right here to AEW and to this moment where I'm standing into the ring looking into your eyes. And I want you to really look at me, Brett. Look at me.
Wow, this is great.
I want you to see the woman that you're messing with. But honestly, I'm surprised you can see much of anything with your head so far up Tony Khan's ass.
Bird after bird, truth bomb after truth bomb. This is why Ruby Soho should be your next AEW Women's Champion, because she just outclassed this other woman on the mic and is going to outclass her in the ring on Wednesday night. Win or lose, we know who should be the new champion, even though I know for a fact that she's not going to win, because in Tony Khan's mind, the big match is not Ruby Soho, even though it's a big fucking match, it's Thunder Rosa. That is exactly where they're going with this. That's exactly why Ruby's like... Apparently, they don't want to do the big match between those two until next year, which is an absolute mistake. But yeah, that's just nah. That is not how you should have that shit. Ruby Soho just showed why she should be your next AEW Women's Champion, which I know if she was to win on Wednesday, people would complain, oh, she just got here, she had one match, she should have to, the ranking system is trash, blah, blah, blah. It's like she went to a battle royal where anybody could have won, and she won it. That's why it's not like you can be okay with her winning the championship if she was to win the championship. So, I would hope that she would win, but obviously I know where they're going with this unless things change, which I would be so happy if Ruby Soho won the championship to get that title off of one of the worst champions in company history, if not the worst champion in company history. But I digress. I noticed they took Mark Henry off of commentary for the time being. I don't know why we have to have a 4-man booth on Rampage. We have a 2-man booth on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation. We have a 3-man booth on Wednesday night. And now we have to have a 4-man booth on Friday. Why? I don't understand. Mark Henry speaks with Fuego and chant with Miro. Fuego is ready to correct history and take the title home tonight. Miro says there's no way that'll happen. And we go to the main event. This match, of course, was way different than the last time these two went one-on-one. With Fuego fighting all he could. Miro just saying, fuck you, I'm not losing my championship to you. And eventually beats him, as you know. So, Fuego gets beat, and Miro gets the keys to the car, and it looks like it's going to be Miro walking away. He takes the keys, shoves them into his mouth, puts him in the game over. Sammy Guevara eventually does run down and makes the save, and Then, after that, Sammy Miro left the title. But what's with these champions leaving their championships in the ring? Like, the women's champion left her title, and now you have Miro leaving his title. And it looks like Sammy Guevara has verbally challenged Miro to the TNT Championship. But will that happen next week? So, next week on Rampage, we're going to talk about Rampage next week. We have the full card, it looks like, with 6 matches. I don't see any reason to add any more. You have the Super Click, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks versus Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. I say the Super Click wins that one. Christian Cage takes the pinfall. There's no reason why you have the Super Click lose. The Inner Circle's Jake Hager and Jericho take on the Men of the Year, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Of course, Jericho and Jake Hager should win this one, unless there's some bullshit with the American Top Team, which, get that shit off my TV. I don't care how much of a wrestling fan Dan Lambert or anybody else from American Top Team is. They're not wanted in AEW. Get them off my fucking television. CM Punk over Powerhouse Hobbs. I think it's going to be a hell of a match. Suzuki-gun, Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer versus John Moxley and Eddie Kingston. I still say Moxley and Eddie Kingston will take the pinfall. He will take the loss here. I say Eddie Kingston's going to be the one to take the pinfall or knockout here. But that's going to be a bonkers match. Lucha Bros and Santana Ortiz versus Hardy Family Office. Obviously, the Lucha Bros and Santana Ortiz will pick up the win. And Anna Jay takes on Penelope Ford. That is your last match for that. I say Anna Jay picks up the win. That is that. So Super Click, The Inner Circle, CM Punk, Suzuki-gun, Lucha Bros, and Santana Ortiz. Anna Jay over Penelope Ford. And that is Rampage for next week. If you want to find out my Wednesday night Grand Slam predictions, go check out the Wednesday review. I put them on there. Moving on to SmackDown, because Rampage was fun, Rampage was good, and SmackDown is still the Roman Reigns show. Roman, the tag champs come out with Paul Heyman, as they do. So, you get the same opening shtick, and it has been announced earlier in the week that it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. Now, they decided that they're not going to wait till the week after the Fiend versus, not the Fiend, but the Demon versus Roman Reigns. No, they decided to do it now, utterly killing anybody's interest in Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor. But then you have them come on tonight and be like, oh, it's supposed to be a title match, but if Finn Balor wins, then it's not going to be a title match, it's going to be one-on-one. That's not the challenge that Brock Lesnar made. Brock Lesnar made a challenge to Roman Reigns for the Universal title. So you're just saying, fuck Finn Balor, he's here for nothing. He's here to get beat, and that is that. Everyone knows he's going to get beat, but nobody fucking understands, nobody seems to care that they just said, fuck Finn Balor, he's nothing but a guy in the way. That's all it is. So, Heyman praises Reigns with the grand introduction, does his usual thing, says everybody fears him, Finn Balor fears him, Brock Lesnar fears him. If Finn Balor didn't fear him, he wouldn't have to tap into his inner demon to take on the champion. He says he's never seen fear in Brock Lesnar's eyes, not even the octagon, not on the operating table, not any other time, but last week he did. Out comes the new WWE Champion, Big E, who's making his final stop on SmackDown for the time being, because, you know, that's just how they do this. So, Balor comes out as well. They stop at ringside, stare Reigns down. We go to commercial, we come back, and it's the Usos versus Finn Balor and Big E. Why is this fucking match happening? I do not fucking know. Oh yeah, by the way, this is a Champions Contenders match. Why? Big E is WWE Champion. The Usos are Tag Team Champions. Finn Balor is challenging for the Universal Championship. This is definition of booking yourself into a fucking corner. Nobody needs to lose this match. But who loses? Oh, that's right. the tag team champions. Why would you not have the tag team champions in a situation where they could be winners? No, you have to have them lose because you have to have Big E look strong, you have to have Balor look strong, and fuck the tag team champions because WWE doesn't care about tag team wrestling. Outside of, unless your name is Roman Reigns, why would you ever want to be a champion in this company? Because you'll lose non-title matches for no goddamn fucking reason. I don't understand why they even needed to have this match tonight. You could have had Big E versus somebody else. Somebody, like, he could have come out, did some kind of promo on the champ, piss off Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns could have went out there and said, fuck this motherfucker, put a bounty on his head for somebody, and have one of the guys in WWE's mid-card come out and face him, have Big E beat him, and that's that. But of course, you have to have Big E win. Now, next week on Monday Night Raw, Raw continues to be desperate as Roman Reigns and the Usos are coming to Monday Night Raw. Why are they coming to Monday Night Raw? Because Monday Night Raw got beat in the 18-49 demo again. Was it a lot closer? Yeah, probably. But again, AEW won in the 18-49 demo, and that is why on Monday it'll be the Usos, the Bloodline, versus the New Day in 6-man tag team wrestling match. Why? Just somebody tell me why. Do I need to see? Oh, that's right. Because 1, there's football season, and 2, Vince McMahon is so desperate to be the superior brand in all of wrestling and sports entertainment. Here's the thing. There is a new kid on the block who, by the way, has been valued at $400 million in AEW. And they are kicking your ass in fan base. They are kicking your ass in demo viewership. They're not going to, like, AEW, it's going to be hard for AEW to beat WWE in overall viewership because a lot of old people watch WWE. A lot. And I mean a lot of old people. WWE is one of the most watched things from old people in the old person demographic. So, unless AEW wants to cater to them, which I know they don't, which I wouldn't want to either, it's going to be hard to beat WWE in that spot. But it's funny. It's just so funny how WWE hot-shotted the WWE Championship onto Big E, which I'm glad for Big E to win the championship. He fucking deserves it. But the hot-shotted onto Big E, and if you look at the ratings, it did absolutely nothing for the company. It didn't help the ratings. It didn't help the demographic. Everybody rather watch the Raiders versus the fucking the Ravens on Monday night. And the ratings are going to continue to fall and fall and fall. And one day, maybe, the AEW will beat them in overall ratings. Right now, beating them in 18-49 is the biggest thing AEW could ever do. Another reason that 6-man tag match is happening on Monday. Wednesday night next week is Grand Slam. Wednesday night next week, it's Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. 1-on-1. And what could be a match of the year candidate. WWE doesn't have anything they could do to give you a match of the year candidate. So the best they're going to be able to do is Roman and the Usos on SmackDown next week. That's how they're going to do it. That's the best they're going to be able to do. So, we go backstage and we see Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman watching. Roman tells Paul Heyman to sit. And he's like, Paul, you want to tell me anything? he knows, he says, no, I don't. No. Roman's like, okay, so just pretend I know something. You want to try that again? Heyman means with all the respect in his heart and soul. He knows what Reigns is getting at, but he did not know Brock Lesnar was going to be at SummerSlam. Lesnar fears Reigns and says it's because why else would Lesnar make up these false narratives that Heyman knew he would be at SummerSlam to confront Reigns? Heyman says it's a cover, a mask, as Lesnar is dealing with fear like this is the first time in his life, so he comes up with this cover to deal with it, and that's how he knows Lesnar fears Reigns. He asks Reigns asks if Lesnar is going to show up at Extreme Rules, and Heyman's like, no. Reigns is like, how do you know? Heyman's like, I'm under the impression he wouldn't dare show up at Extreme Rules, as he feels Reigns. Reigns says he doesn't pay Heyman to be under the impression, he pays him to know in advance. And Heyman looks a little disturbed. Will it come out that Paul Heyman was in cahoots with Brock Lesnar, or has it all been a sham from the start? More to find out later. Rick Boogs, who is over with the crowd, by the way, takes on Robert Roode. Another short match here. Boogs gets the win. After the match, he's celebrating with Nakamura outside as he plays Nakamura's music. As these and Cruz show up, they beat the hell out of these two, leaving them laying. They get into the ring. Apollo Crews in his best T'Challa impression, because that's exactly who he's trying to play. He's trying to play T'Challa from the Black Panther. He's trying to, invoke his inner Chadwick Boseman every time he opens his mouth. If you don't see it, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He sounds like he's trying to imitate T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa from Black Panther. And he says, "That is your king?" Who's still at ringside. He says, Nakamura has made a mockery of the Intercontinental Championship, so I want my rematch. Looks at the floor, Nakamura trying to recover with Boogs as Cruz music hits. We got a replay as Cruz and Aziz look on from the ring and ends the segment. We see the Progressive sponsored look cool, Kevin Owens' words with Logan Paul and Baron Corbin from 2 weeks ago. And then we get a match between these two. Kevin Owens versus Baron Corbin. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen because as Kevin Owens is coming out, Corbin attacks him from behind, destroys him, sending him to the apron, beating him around. Owens fights back, so the referee wants him. Corbin at the ring. Corbin delivers a chokeslam onto the edge of the apron, and he smiles, stands tall. Owens, who sells the attack, while still down. Corbin is all smiles. Lastly, he makes his exit, while Owens yells at him on the floor. So a tease of a match between these two. And here's the thing. Kevin Owens' contract is supposed to come out next January, the end of January. It'll be very telling how things go with Kevin Owens in the next few months, what happens with him and how they're going to treat him. If Kevin Owens is not resigning, and he's in the last few months of Kevin Owens coming up between now and January of next year, we'll see him get beaten and humiliated and taken pillar to post to be made into a laughingstock, because Vince McMahon is a very petty person, and Kevin Owens will just be turned into the next big beatdown from somebody like a Randy Orton. It wouldn't surprise me that after if Kevin Owens gets assigned or gets drafted to Monday Night Raw for the last few months of his contract, if we don't see a Matt Hardy, Randy Orton 2.0 type thing, where if Randy Orton turns on Matt Riddle and becomes the big heel he used to be, and he turns his attention on to Kevin Owens, he doesn't start beating up Kevin Owens and then takes him out with a concerto to the stage or something. But it'll be very telling to see. We'll know what happens with Kevin Owens if it doesn't come out that he signed a new contract in the next few months, that he's on his way out. Because Vince, if he's not going to be signed, Vince McMahon's not going to do what he did with Dean Ambrose and let him just walk away. He's going to do what he did with Matt Hardy and beat him and make him an example out of him. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Out comes Seth Rollins to talk about what happened last week. Now, the reason they did the stretcher spot last week is because they're supposed to be writing Edge off for the next few months. Edge is supposed to be gone for probably the rest of the year. We probably won't see Edge till Royal Rumble 2022, which I wouldn't surprise me if they actually did that. So, before we get to that, we see we're going to have a Bianca Belair homecoming at the end of the show. Who really gives a shit? Kayla Braxton stops him backstage. He says that sources say Brock Lesnar might be going to Raw in the WWE draft, and if so, what does Lesnar think about it? Heyman dismisses the idea of Kayla having sources and goes on ranting, telling Kayla to stop flirting with him and to leave him alone. He turns around and runs into Big E. He congratulates Big E on about how Big E put that champion who would be vulnerable and not the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. He couldn't beat who he couldn't beat. Big E says he'll see when he faces Reigns at Survivor Series, or will it be Lesnar or Finn Balor? The tag champs beat the hell out of him, destroy him, super kicking him, leaving him laying. Telling him to go back to Raw, Reigns slowly walks up from behind and gives his approval to the Usos. They walk off behind Reigns as Big E sells the attack on the ground. And this is another telling thing. Do you ever think that you would see Roman Reigns in this position? Do you ever think you would see Roman Reigns beaten and embarrassed and humiliated on TV in front of everybody? No. Just shows you in the pecking order where Roman Reigns stands and where all of the champions stand. Roman is up in the hundreds, while everyone else is down in the teens, and it's just so you can just tell that WWE would never ever put Roman Reigns in that type of position. While Big E won't be WWE champion for very long, I can guarantee you. If Monday Night Raw doesn't draw any new rating, even with Roman Reigns on there, WWE is not going to blame Roman. It's like, oh, well, Big E's not that isn't the draw of the champion. It's Big E's fault. People are running away because Big E's champ. So take the title off of him. That's what's going to happen. So, back in the ring, and Rollins talks about how the best moments of the career last week when he beat Edge. He says we have about a week to process our thoughts, and he admits it was unfortunate scare what happened to Edge after the match when Rollins' boot came down across the back of Edge's neck. Rollins heard it pop, and it felt like a crunch. It doesn't really know how to describe it. Fans chant, "You look stupid." He compares the stomp to what he did to like you stepping on a bug. He said Edge says he can't do it justice. So Rollins says he can't do it justice. So he shows us what happened in the post-match attack, and Edge was taken away in the ambulance. Rollins says he knows that was difficult to watch. It was difficult for him to watch as well, and he knows why fans are booing. But he has a question to ask. The same one he's been asking himself all week. It's very simple. What did you think was going to happen? That was one of the greatest moments of my career, but it didn't get a chance to enjoy it because everyone backstage and everyone on social media was looking at him and asking him why. His own employer said it was too far. He asked fans if he went too far, and they agree. Says he used to use the illegal move in a legal match and won it the same way. He won matches for the majority of his career. Did he go too far? Edge says that Edge go too far because he's a family man. He knows the risk. He knew the consequences, and he still got in the ring with Rollins. Rollins says, "Look to your left and your right in the mirror to see who's really to blame." Says the fans goaded Edge into goading him, and they brought this on. He didn't do anything wrong. He's not to blame of anyone. It's Edge, and he's rotting people watching here tonight and at home, because you got to go with the "you people" chant type of promo every single time because it's generic as fuck, and that's the only way they know how to get heat. Rollins says if we don't like that, we really won't like this. He's not done by Edge. Not done with Edge, not by a long shot. He says Edge is white, WWE Hall of Fame. We said on NXT 2.0 how Edge is at home recovering. Rollins is sure Edge is watching right now. If he's at home, he asks Edge if he's physically capable of getting back to the ring, or even emotionally capable. Says he saw the look in Edge's eye when he was loaded into the ambulance, and it was fear. Rollins says 1 second he actually felt sorry for Edge, and that feeling has been eating him alive back on his brain for the past week, and he can't live with himself feeling sorry for someone like Edge. He says he has to move on, and he can't do that until he finishes Edge off, and says in the end's two ways. He goes to Edge's little cabin and finishes him off in front of his family, or Edge crawls his way back into the ring so they can dance one more time. says for his own sanity, he has to finish Edge one way or another, stares at the camera, and his music starts up. So, what about these reports that Edge is supposed to be gone for a couple months? But yet you have Rollins on TV cutting a promo saying, "I'm not done with Edge in this match. I need to finish Edge ASAP." So, which one is it? So, Kayla is backstage with SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch. She's asked if Bianca Belair's homecoming will give her added momentum. Becky says momentum is tricky because it keeps going up until it meets an opposing force. Belair had a lot of momentum going into SummerSlam until the outcome will be the same as after Extreme Rules. Changing the tune, it says, but this is Belair's night. She thinks about it for a second, says she's never been to a homecoming, so maybe she'll check it out, and she walks off. And then we had a match that was supposed to happen last week, but Edge and Seth Rollins decided they were going to go 25 minutes. Zelina Vega and Carmella versus Toni Storm and Liv Morgan. And when this match was over, they really couldn't find time last week to have this match. This match went about 3 minutes. If that. And by the way, this is Toni Storm's first match on SmackDown in over 2 months. It lasted 3 minutes. Carmella gets her face gets hit with a backstabber. Face first into the turnbuckle. Carmella goes to the floor, holding her nose as if it was broken. Baker checks on her, the referee counts him out, and that was that. After the match, Liv was like, "Oh, Carmella, I'm sorry. Did I break your nose?" You know what? No. I'm not sorry. But you know what? How about me, you, and Extreme Rules? We are a little over a week away from Extreme Rules, and not one single fucking match has a stipulation. What the fuck, WWE? Why are you even calling that pay-per-view Extreme Rules when there's not a single stipulation match at all? Someone explain that one to me. Street Profits are hyped backstage, getting ready for Bianca Belair's homecoming, then after party, then they address the Usos and they're coming for the tag team titles. That match will happen at Extreme Rules. Finn Balor gives us hold on. Carmella's in the trainer's room with Vega, Sonya and Anna Pierce. Carmella's nose isn't broken. Vega says she's so beautiful. Carmella addresses Liv Morgan, says it's on at Extreme Rules. She says Morgan must face her first. Vega says Morgan must face her first, which will probably happen next week. Balor's backstage. He says everyone wants to know where the demon comes from. Unlike WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, he wasn't born into wrestling and doesn't have a bloodline. He's born into a family of railroad workers and wasn't supposed to be here. But this is what he chose. He fought and clawed his way, and here he is. The demon comes from the inside and is a manifestation of everyone who told him no. Doubted him or disrespected him, the demon unlocks a rage inside of Balor that cannot be controlled. Balor does not summon the demon, it summons him. Balor says the disrespect from the bloodline is just adding fuel to the fire, but Reigns will see the fire that burns inside of him. Burns better than the fires burning around him. He says we're looking at the face of Finn Balor, the challenger, and in Extreme Rules, we will see the face of the demon. And then they do a graphic thing, and Balor changes from Balor to the demon, and that is that. Dominic Mysterio versus Sami Zayn. This is the third time in a row that these guys face each other. Dom told his dad to stay backstage. Unfortunately, Rey Mysterio isn't a good listener, and he comes out to be on commentary. So Dom's not really happy about that. So Sonya Deville is backstage on the phone with Naomi. Walks up. Naomi is losing her patience. Wants to know when her return match is. Deville says not a lot of time left on the show, so get with her next week. Naomi is fucking like, fuck this shit. You know what? I've been more patient and respectful and said she doesn't know what Deville's problem is with her and doesn't care. But she's done more than you. I've been here longer than you. And I've done way more than you. And I've accomplished more than you. I'm a 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion. And I don't deserve how you treating me. And says she never quits. And says one way or another she will get her match. She faces off with Deville. And it says she feels that. Naomi walks off as Deville stares. We go to a ring and Sami Zayn is out. The bell rings. They have about another 3-minute match. Dominic tries to go up for a frog splash. His dad's trying to encourage him from commentary. Goes for the frog splash. Knees to his chest. Rolled up. 1, 2, 3. And Sami Zayn gets another win. He goes out ringside and tells Ray, Dominic is not on my level. He's not ready, and you know it. Walks away, Ray enters the ring with his son, and it's coming very, very soon. The turn's going to happen. Unless it happens next week, it's not going to happen until after Extreme Rules. But it's coming. It's coming, and it's need to have come. Out comes Kane, the mayor of Knox County, Georgia. He's dressed to the nines as Glenn Jacobs. Brings out Bianca Belair. She has this whole spiel of how she's great to be where she's at and happy to be where she's at, and she's going to win the women's championship again. And then she gets the key to the county. Good for her. Out comes Becky Lynch. She said she's going to take a she's going to out comes Becky Lynch. Says this is awesome and congratulates Belair. Lynch says Kane lied to her because she won't be a champion after Extreme Rules, but she'll be Knoxville's champion. Lynch tacitly points out how some of Belair's high school photos that are blown up and on display at ringside. Lynch is in the ring now. Belair gets in the crowd and chant, "You don't go here." Who cares? Well, Becky agrees and says she doesn't come to steal thunder. She says SummerSlam was her night. Extreme Rules will probably be her night, but tonight is Belair's night. Becky says she came to show Belair some respect. She offers her a hand to shake, but Belair isn't interested. Becky says she's being the bigger man here. And Belair, all these boys get girls looking up here, so why not shake? Belair shakes. Becky holds her hand. Goes to leave, but Belair isn't letting go. Becky swings, but Belair ducks. Goes for the KOD in the middle of the ring, slides and drops Belair with the manhandle slam as the fans boo. Becky makes her exit the ring, music starts up, Belair quickly gets back up, we go to replays as Becky looks on from the entranceway. While the music plays, Belair stumbles in the ring and looks on as Becky raises the title and SmackDown goes off the air, and I could really care less. I miss the days of Bianca Belair being that heel, that bitch heel she was in NXT. Because that was how Bianca Belair should have been portrayed completely. But I know she's married to Montez Ford, and you can't have them both be one be heel and one be babyface on the same brand. It just wouldn't make any sense. I just don't really care about it. They've given me literally no reason to care about Bianca Belair. You killed Bianca Belair at SummerSlam, and she has not recovered, and she probably never will recover. And that's on you, Vince. But that is your AEW and SmackDown review. SmackDown was a meh show outside of the Roman Reigns stuff. I could really care less about the rest of it. But hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me online at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The Find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I will see you guys on Monday for another desperate attempt to pop a rating on this Monday Night Raw. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.